What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to On the Topic Of, which is a series on my channel every single Friday where I choose a piece of news that's been in the video game news spotlight, but instead this week we are going to be taking a look at, as the thumbnail hinted, the video game awards that actually happened last night, and I'll be going through the winners and giving my thoughts on it. It's going to be kind of a more laid back On the Topic Of, just because I want to have a conversation about the winners of the game awards and what I think about the people that actually won and the games that won. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first off, let's go ahead and tackle the big title of the night, the game of the year. So of course we had Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Super Mario Maker. These were all nominees, but the winner actually ended up being, surprisingly to most people, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which I played it earlier in the year and I just couldn't get into it, and actually after it won Game of the Year, I went and installed it on my PC last night. Again, I just went ahead and re-downloaded it, and I'm going to try and play it through on just the story mode, because there is just the story and then there's like normal, medium, hard, all of that good stuff. And so I tried to play it through on normal the first time, and considering I've never played a Witcher game, I kind of got lost and I didn't really pick it up after I got lost. So I'm going to go back and try and play through it again, just because I want to experience why it's Game of the Year. I never really understood that, but I have heard a lot of people with rave reviews about it, so I really want to, try it for myself and really give it a good shot so I can see what other people are seeing. And of course, CD Projekt Red, the developer of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, actually got Developer of the Year, which I thought was a very well-earned reward, just because of the way that they handled the community, the way that they constantly kept in touch with the people playing their game, and in general, they've been a really good developer, especially for a developer to earn Game of the Year. Next up, Best Independent Game went to Rocket League, which is a no-brainer. I mean, considering it came from a little, not well-known studio, and it just completely blew up over the course of 2015, and it's still one of the best games on my PlayStation 4, they definitely deserve the Best Independent Game title. Best Mobile/Handheld Game went to Lara Croft Go, which I've heard great things about. It's kind of a Square Enix game, and it's almost like a board game kind of thing. I've looked at a couple of screenshots of it. There's also a Hitman Go, which I think is a lot more popular. But to each their own, I don't really play mobile/handheld games that much because I'm normally at home near my PC or my consoles, or if I'm on the go, I'm normally doing work or something on my laptop. But if you do play handheld games or, just play on your phone a lot, you might want to check out Lara Croft Go, because it seems a lot of people enjoyed it. Best Narrative actually went to Her Story, which I actually haven't played. It's $3.50 right now on Steam if you want to give that a look, and I believe it's going to be that way until December the 10th, I think, if you are on PC. But it's a very interesting narrative-driven game, because pretty much this woman went into a police station and she did 7 interviews, and within these 7 interviews you have to break them down and find little hints as to what happened to her. At least that's as much of the story as I've gathered so far, and it actually was a very surprising title throughout the night, but that did get Best Narrative of 2015. So the Best Art Direction actually went to Ori and the Blind Forest, and quite frankly, I was expecting Bloodborne to get this title just because of how gothic and different the art style of Bloodborne actually was, but it did end up going to Ori and the Blind Forest, and I suppose I can understand where they're coming from, because the lighting was great in that game, and I've seen many gameplay videos of it. I actually haven't gotten around to playing it, and it's on my list to play for the Xbox One. The next time there's a sale, I'll probably end up picking it up. If I get a gift card around the holidays, I might end up getting that one on my console, or maybe I'll even buy it on PC, but it looks really good, and the way that there are different layers to the side-scrolling game, that adds a lot of depth to the experience, and that's why Ori and the Blind Forest is definitely worthy of winning the Best Art Direction in 2015. So the Best Score/Soundtrack went to Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and the nominees all really could have won this title. You had Fallout 4 because that intro music is great, Halo 5 Guardians. Halo is always spot on with the music. Then of course you have Metal Gear Solid 5, which actually won, which speaks for itself. Ori and the Blind Forest, haven't heard much about the music, I just know that the story is very touching to the emotional side of people. And then The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which I don't really remember there being any significant music, but as I said at the beginning of this video, we'll see shortly, because I am doing another playthrough of it. So Best Performance is the one that really blew people away last night, and this was a very confusing one, because you had a chick from Life is Strange, you had the guy that played Geralt in The Witcher 3, you had the chick that did Lara Croft in Rise of the Tomb Raider, you had Mark Hamill as the Joker, which I thought was going to win, from Arkham Knight, and then you had Her Story, which we mentioned earlier. It's that little, 7 interview thing that went on, and it's on Steam for $3.50 right now. $3.50, mind you, and the rest of these games were, around $60. Just keep that in mind. She actually won Best Performance. She beat out Mark Hamill, the guy that did Geralt, which I thought was a pretty good voicing. The chick that does Lara Croft, she does all the acting and the voiceovers for Lara Croft. That should have won more than likely, but I suppose her story is worth checking out now, or maybe someone from that company, you know, paid to win a lot of stuff. I don't know. So Best Shooter actually went to Splatoon, which I thought was very kind of shocking, especially considering it was going up against Black Ops 3, The Taken King, Halo 5 Guardians, and Star Wars Battlefront. What? How? So the best action-adventure game I thought was pretty well-earned is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and it did go up against Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Batman Arkham Knight, which was a very good game and went back and finished it. Ori and the Blind Forest, which, no, it's not open world, you can't do that. And Rise of the Tomb Raider, I hear, is pretty open world as far as open world games go. So I was kind of expecting Rise of the Tomb Raider to win this just because of how, I haven't heard any negative things about this game, so that's kind of significant, but I suppose Metal Gear Solid 5 is definitely worth checking out because it did win Best Action Adventure Game of 2015. So the best fighting game of 2015 ended up being Mortal Kombat 10 because it literally had no competition that was worth mentioning. Best family game was kind of shocking to me because of how complex the winner can be, I suppose in some cases. You had Disney Infinity 3.0, Lego Dimensions, Skylanders Superchargers, Splatoon, and then the winner was actually Super Mario Maker, and because of the way that it's built, it can be kind of just an enormous game, so a lot of people kind of have a hard time taking it all in, and the fact that it won the best family game kind of was shocking to me just because of how it feels like it's meant not for the younger generation. You know, it's meant for those that are like between the ages of 13 and 74, just because you have to kind of know how to maneuver those controls and, you know, have to know where to place things. But I suppose if you do have younger kids playing the creations that the older adults make, then it does technically work as a really good family game. So the best sports/racing game ended up being Rocket League, which I kind of disagreed with on some degree, just because in my mind it doesn't feel like a sports game. It's going to be a great esports title whenever that kind of thing starts getting into the mainstream, but it was kind of against some unfair odds because you did have FIFA 16, Forza Motorsport 6, NBA 2K16, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, and Rocket League beat all those out. Seems a little bit lopsided. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So the best multiplayer against Black Ops 3, The Taken King, Halo 5 Guardians, Rocket League, you had Splatoon actually took home the best multiplayer. I would have said Halo 5 or Call of Duty Black Ops 3 just because they both brought pretty significant innovation into the multiplayer side of both of those titles, but maybe, I don't know, I haven't played Splatoon and I don't own a Wii U, but I know the fact that Splatoon got a lot of awards is definitely going to sell some Wii U's. So the most anticipated game for 2016 ended up being No Man's Sky, which I can totally understand. It's been a couple of years in the making, and everyone's expecting a PlayStation virtual reality announcement concerning No Man's Sky, so a lot of people are excited about that one. Personally, I'm really excited to see what Horizon Zero Dawn brings to the table, because it feels like it's one of those games where humanity has progressed to such a degree that it's now regressing, and that's always been very interesting to me, kind of like The Last of Us, how we got so far into the field of medicine and then something went wrong and then the entire world fell apart. That sounds very interesting and something I would like to check out. Of course, The Last Guardian is the one that I thought would win just because of how long it's been anticipated. And then Uncharted 4, a lot of people are excited about it, but for some reason I'm not really feeling the hype throughout the industry. And Quantum Break, I don't know, it feels like a disappointment coming down the pipe, but I do hope the best for that game. So the Trending Gamer Award went to Greg Miller, which I thought was very well deserved. Obviously, he left IGN at the beginning of the year. I believe he started on January, either the 1st or the 3rd, somewhere in early January, and he built up Kind of Funny Games. And if you haven't heard of these guys, give them a quick search on YouTube. They make some hilarious podcasts, they make some awesome videos, some gameplay stuff, and they're just, it's one of the ways that I stay informed about what's going on in the gaming industry through a humorous, channel. They put a lot of humor into stuff. They make things kind of funny, and that's what I really enjoy about them. And hats off, no hat, to Greg Miller and the guys over at Kind of Funny Games. Tim, Colin, Kevin, Kevin, and then Nick, obviously. But they all do very awesome stuff, and I definitely recommend checking them out if you're looking for someone other than me to watch on YouTube. So there were a couple of other categories, but that's stuff like esports and fan creations and whatnot. But those are the big ones that I thought were worth mentioning about who won last night. So ultimately, the Game Awards 2015 was a very shocking year. I didn't expect The Witcher 3 to get Game of the Year. I definitely didn't expect Best Performance to go to that chick from Her Story. But to each their own, it felt like a pretty good show. I thought Jeff Keighley did very well with the display this year. I was very shocked that Kojima actually couldn't come because Konami had apparently hired some lawyers and done some legal things to where he actually was not allowed to come to the Game Awards, which I'm sure we will hear endless things about, and obviously Konami is not doing so well on the public relations front, and this did not improve that whatsoever. But as a show, looking at it objectively, the show went very well, it went very smoothly, and I thought that those games that won and the people that won definitely to some degree deserved the awards that they got. Except for that chick from Her Story, I'm gonna have to watch a playthrough that game because really? Come on. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what you think about the Game Awards 2015. Who do you think should have won? Do you think that someone else should have gotten Game of the Year? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, be sure to head over there and check out some of my other videos because I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week. So there's always something new on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Ho, 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 ho.